Hello everybody and welcome to another week of Racing League Hub with C4, and we are here this week in Hungary, round 9, so into the business end of the season 10. I can see a lot of people interested of late in joining up. Looks like we've got some support already for Haas, Dragoskoy and the Annoyed Gamer from Shack Attack 29. It's almost half the grid there we're supporting there, but hopefully one of your drivers will do you proud today. And no wasting time for last week's winner, Goon, who's already out onto the circuit. As we see Berlin Blues going for a first lap on the mediums, as is Jarno and Destroyer. Haas currently provisionally has set the tyres to the mediums as well. He's going to be one of the first drivers to go around and set a lap, going straight for the soft tyres as well. We've got Jarno already well into their lap, going around turn 1. Up into the difficult turn 4. It's very difficult for any driver, I'd say, on the controller, more so than using the racing wheel. On the racing wheel, as I have been able to find out, you can fight that corner at turn 4 a little bit more, whereas on the controller you can easily lose it, is what I found last year when I managed to crash before the stream even went up. And speaking of that, Skipper very close to doing the same thing. Not out of session there yet for Skipper, but that's able to recover the car. We will just flick back to Jarno. We have got some support in the chat for the Aston driver. And here they are going around the final turn. A rather cautious lap, but make sure to set a lap nonetheless. And it's a 1:19.2 as the first time to be set so far. And Goon has trumped that one with a 1:16.6. See how the Annoyed Gamer fares out there with their first lap. See Goran Podner getting their Huss in 2 seconds with 1:17.1. The Annoyed Gamer picking up the late podium last weekend. Will be looking to get another podium, if not a race win today. Arkla has set a first time there of 1:19.9, and Sven as well at 1:26.8. I'm sure they had some difficulties on their lap. And likewise the same for Berlin Blues. You see all the drivers are now out on the circuit, so no drivers in the pit lane. Quite a busy track. So I'm saying they're going to lose many points this week. Well, hopefully not. No one likes to lose any points. Just got to take it nice and easy. I say Hungary, it's a hard track to overtake on. Not many overtaking opportunities at the Hungaro ring, but a lot of opportunities for mistakes, be that ahead, behind, or you yourself. And drivers are going to be looking to capitalise. And Skipper setting their first time of the day of the session. The 1:17.2, enough for third fastest so far in the Red Bull. And Haas doing a lap on the mediums, enough for 8th position so far. Very hard track to judge in terms of strategies, very harsh on the tyre wear on the soft tyres. As RPM Dragos sets a 1:17.0, very good lap by them in the Alfa Romeo. A very harsh track on the tyre wear. The soft tyres won't last too long. A medium hard strategy is the recommended strategy in-game graphics, but obviously that's consideration safety cars or even rain, as C2 found out on Tuesday night. As we see Sven coming around the last bend and doesn't improve on their time, so 1:17.7 still fastest time for the Williams driver. Making their first appearance, as we nearly saw the annoyed gamer losing it. And taking it extra cautious through 8, 9 and 10. As we see Skipper off the track, presumably on an in lap. Just making sure they're not holding up any of the drivers going around on the hot laps behind them. Looks like Sven's going to go for another lap here on those soft tyres. And it's enough to see them up to third fastest with 1:17.0. But those tyres have already done 4 laps. We will get confirmation on a weather report for what the race will be like. So there's also no Apex Army racing tonight. We have got quite a few stand-in drivers. I see the Destroyer back in the McLaren this week. Currently on an out lap. That set a time on the soft tyres. You see a lot of drivers tempted for the medium qualifying strategy. However, those medium tyres do lose a lot of time in comparison to the softs around the Hungaro ring. And for the strategy to really work, obviously you've got to qualify in the top 10 to be on the tyres that you have used in qualifying. Otherwise, you might as well just start on a fresh set of mediums. Let's just see Goran Potner going around the final bend. Looks like they might be improving on the time, and they have. They're up to second fastest, breaking into the 116, so 116.7 for the Haas driver. As it looks like we see a slight improvement on the time there for Jarno so far. We will catch there on board for the remainder of the lap. Oh, looks to have lost it through turns 10. That's obviously then done for that lap. As we also see RPM drag us off the track. I'm sure that's just letting the drivers behind through. And see the Destroyer. Slight bit of traffic ahead of them. It might have held them up just a little bit. Round 13 they go, managed to keep the traction rather well. Rounds turn 13 into turn 14, keeps it quite tight. Well away from the grey inside curve which can spin you out. And that's the new fastest lap of the session by the Destroyer in the McLaren. And I've got to wonder if it would have been sub 116 maybe without the traffic through sector 2. But I'm sure they'll be happy to see their name at the top of the timesheet so far. And as we do see, Goon is out on the circuit as well. Snell Henk got some good points last week out. Currently purple in the second sector. See if they can keep it together around the final couple of bends. Neatly rounds 13 and 14. And it's enough for fourth place, so 116.8 for the Williams driver. Finally seems that they've found some good form. And it looks like they're going to be in a good position to score some good points again. As we see a Haas just going across the line there until 116.3. Again, Dragos improving on their time as well. A purple third sector to 116.5 for the Alpha driver. As we see Sven in the Williams just coming round. It's a slow outlap for the Williams driver, but we'll see be putting the pedal down now for... Looks like they're going to get a couple more runs at it with 4.5 minutes remaining of qualifying. You also see Jarno just ahead. Also on a flying lap. Looks like Jarno is up on their time. A bit deep there into turn 11. Turn 12 even, into 13 and 14. Bit cautious with the power. We'll see where that puts them. It's enough for 5th fastest, so an improvement of 2 tenths. You can see him losing a bit of time there in the final sector. That's crispy business, doing their best to stay out of the way of the drivers around them. We are going to stay on board with Goon as they chase that pole lap set by the Destroyer. Currently 200ths of a second separating the Red Bull and the McLaren. Looks like the Goon might have just backed out of the lap there. And it's going to go for next lap. As Goran Potner goes slightly faster on their time, up to 6th position in the Haas. Jarno's failing on that one, is going into the pit lane. And we'll go to Skipper. Currently 4th in the Drivers' Championship, Skipper in the Red Bull. And 9th on the time charts at the moment. We'll no doubt be looking to improve that. Skipper very good in the races, keeping it very consistent throughout season 10. Hasn't had the best qualifying. It does beg the question, if they can get the qualifying right, just how high up in the championship could they be? But does very good at staying out of the trouble, or at least negotiating their way through the traffic, and one to definitely keep your eyes on during the race. And that's exactly why they are sitting 4th in the Drivers' Championship. Around the last bend they go, a little bit wide. It's enough for 7th fastest, and there is just over a minute and a half remaining on the session, so might have a call out lap and might go for one more, but I think that might be Skipper done for the session. As we see Goon going around the final bend. And it's the new fastest of the session. 0.1 faster than their last lap. It's a 1:16.0. The Destroyer is still out on the circuit, and they are currently going faster themselves as well. This could be close. We saw the two drivers battling out in the last couple of weeks, and looks like we're going to get the same story again this week. A little bit of traffic ahead of the Destroyer there. Looks like it was a somewhat different line there. Round to turn 11. It's turn 13 and 14. Nice and tidy on the final bend. And it's only just not fast enough for pole for the Destroyer. They are going to have another go at it. Snell Henk, mentioned earlier, driver on form, Snell Henk, and that's them up to 3rd position so far. But Haas is also out on the track still. Haas currently in 3rd on the Drivers' Championship, and they have just run a bit wide there. I don't believe they've done track limits there, because they're not seen to have got an advantage. And Bale's out of that lap. So Haas happy with 4th. Sven taking their time on the final bend, so I don't think they're going to be looking to set a faster time. They're not there. Kind of 1:40. The Destroyer has done track limits, so that is going to be our qualifying order for Hungary. Goon in pole, Destroyer 2nd, Snell Henk in third, Huss in fourth, Sven in fifth, RPM Dragos in sixth, Goran Potner in seventh, Skipper in eighth, Jarno in ninth, and Nath in 10th. The Annoyed Gamer second in the Drivers' Championship. It's going to be starting in 11th position out there on the track. So back-to-back podiums for Goon. As we will just get the confirmation of the starting grid. It looks like it's going to be a close one. 0.08 between the top two drivers there. Goon in the Red Bull taking the pole. The Destroyer in second position. Snell Henk gets their best qualifying of the season. And that's them in third position in the Williams. Joining them on the second row of the grid is Huss. Fifth position is a debut driver for Sven in the Williams. Sixth, we have RPM Dragos. Goran Potner in seventh. Skipper is in eighth. Jarno in ninth. Skipper and Jarno, definitely two drivers to keep your eyes on in the race. Nathan 10th. Annoyed Gamer in 11th. Second in the Drivers' Championship, 11th starting. He's going to have the fresh tyres. 12th is Goey. Crispy Business in 13th. 14th, we have Ugler. And 15th, we have Berlin Blues. So just a reminder that the drivers in the top 10 obviously going to have the tyres that they have qualified on, unless we have got rain, which doesn't look like we do. It looks like a nice clear day. So the drivers in the top 10 going to be using the tyres that they have set their qualifying time on, whereas the drivers in 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th and 15th are all going to have the option to put on fresh tyres. As I said, a recommended strategy here is a medium hard or a hard medium, just a one stop. So the drivers in the top 10 at somewhat a disadvantage being on the soft tyres. As we mentioned, the tyre wear being excruciatingly high here in Hungary. It does make things difficult, but with it being a hard track to overtake, it could make things difficult, and there could be safety cars which always throw something in the mix. As I say, with a safety car you do end up using a little bit less. As we see the graphic there, the soft hards they reckon as well, which could be the strategy most of the top 10 are looking at. We'll just get confirmation of the tyres that everyone is using. So yes, as predicted, the top 10 obviously on their qualifying soft tyres. 11th, 12th and 13th, the Annoyed Gamer, Goey and Chris Business going for the medium tyres. Ugler and Berlin Blues going for the softs. And there is the predicted strategy for the drivers on the mediums there, so you could go for the medium hard with just a one stop, but as we were mentioning, under a safety car normally get a couple of laps free on the tyres. So who knows, the safety car might be of use for the majority of the drivers in the top 10. Well, a couple of people spectating. Would love to hear your comments in the chat. Who are we supporting? Who do we think is going to win the race today? And as ever, we'd also recommend heading over to the social medias, following Racing League Hub on Instagram and also on TikTok at Racing League Hub. As the drivers make their way round from the formation lap onto the grid. Okay then. We are waiting for lights. 5 lights out and away we go. And it looked like it's a good start from the Destroyer, who is going to have the inside line on Goon. Goon does come across to prevent that. And Goon has got ahead. Snellhenk is going to be going around the outside of the Destroyer. It's going to be tight between the two of them. Snellhenk has got the inside line. The Destroyer has got the traction. Destroyer going around the outside. There is a bit of contact. And the Destroyer somehow manages to keep the position. Some fantastic driving. As we have also got a drive-through penalty for Crispy Business. I believe they have jumped the start. And we see Jono's lost their position to the Annoyed Gamer, as Carlo might be happy for that one, who is supporting the Annoyed Gamer tonight. Hoping for a big charge for a podium. It's definitely going to need to be that, starting on 11th from the grids, but they are currently up to 10th as Skipper gets past Goran Potner. And RPM Dragos rides on the back of Nafid, a battle for 6th. And Naf does run a bit wide. But does get the run out of the corner, but RPM Dragos in the slipstream. And under braking decides to opt for the outside of the corner. And looks like they're going to be squeezed out, but just about left enough room. And all of this happening with the Skipper and the Annoyed Gamer getting ever closer behind them. We just wondered there if Skipper was going to have a go at the inside. No one feeling the brave move into turn 4, but we have got RPM Dragos going wide at turn 5. And that has let some of the drivers behind through. And we've got contact. Goey made a move at the inside of Jono. Misjudged the braking. RPM Dragos also went deep, and Goey has spun. As we see confirmation of the position changes from the start. Nath up 4 positions from the start there. Might be losing one here to Skipper. Both drivers making sure they're leaving enough room. You've got Annoyed Gamer in the background there as well. Looks like we're going to have a big battle on here, as RPM Dragos has got past Jono. Jono fighting it around the outside. As we see the drivers 3 across their heads here going into turn 1. And Skipper has got past Nath. And looks like Annoyed Gamer is going to try and follow through as well. And they have. With a lovely lunge there on those medium tyres. It's ballsy, but it's what we love to see. Nath having some difficulties again at turn 3. And the Annoyed Gamer now up 4 positions. Now in 7th place on the medium tyres. As we do ride on board with Sven chasing down Huss. Huss, who's currently 3rd in the Drivers' Championship. Sven making their C4 Season 10 debut. And looking to maybe have a podium charge. But not like that, running quite wide around turns 13. As the battle still continues between Nath and RPM Dragos, and Nath shuts the door there on RPM Dragos on the final bend. I think RPM Dragos might be a bit too far back to make a move. The DRS is open, but still just a little bit too far back. As we do flick to the onboard of the front 2, the Destroyer and Goon. It said it was going to be tight. DRS is now enabled, and they are within a second of each other, so it could be very close, and we could have some racing for the lead in the next couple of laps. Sven again, right on the back of Huss, seems to close that gap every time around sectors 2. Looks like we had yellow flags there for Crispy Business, as Jarno looks to have pitted. Yeah. So we still have RPM Dragos and Nath battling it out. We will just flick back to Sven, who has a very tight line on turn 14, and it looks like we have got a spinner. It's Jarno around turn 4. Lucky not to be out of the session after making, well, as they could have easily lost it and made contact into the wall there, but they have not. It doesn't look like they've got any damage to the car either, so they'll be looking to continue. Still got 30 laps remaining, so trying to recover, rejuvenate and go again. As RPM Juggers has got past Nath, what looks like to be the run into turn 1. And here we see how Sven catches Huss. And in sector 2, and Sven getting within 0.2 of Huss, and it seems to be the same section of the track each time, but little mistakes like that from Sven, finding it very difficult to stay as close as they can to Huss. I mean, they do keep getting onto the curbs and the gap does keep increasing, but Huss still having some difficulties finding the grip out of some of the corners. And this battle here looks like it's going to continue. The Destroyer a bit too far back to make a move on Goon on this occasion. But maintaining that gap. You never know when the drivers in Hungary are going to make a mistake. It's very easily done. As we do just get a confirmation there of the tyres that everybody's running. You can also see if anyone has made any pit stops. We have also got a time penalty for Nath. We said they were having difficulties on the exit of turn 3. And speaking of difficulties, we've got Crispy Business on the exit of the final turn. So the Annoyed Gamer, top of the medium runners. Hunting down the Red Bull of Skipper. Now we'll be looking just to keep touch with the soft runners, knowing that the Annoyed Gamer can do a longer stint. No early safety car, which we thought we might have had. It looks like Skipper had a bit of a moment there between turns between 13 and 14, and I think the Annoyed Gamer might be a bit too far back to make a move, but that is going to give confidence to the AlphaTauri driver, seeing the driver ahead of them start to struggle already on the soft tyres. And the Destroyer again right on the back of Goon. Goon may be nursing the tyres a bit. The Destroyer really wants that track position. The gap at just 0.3. If the gap was to maintain like this to the main straight, you'd believe the Destroyer with DRS open would be getting past the championship leader here. But Goon have fantastic drive as we start sector 3. Pulls out the gap a little bit more, but the Destroyer right on the back of the Red Bull still. It's all going to come to the run off the final bend, and the Destroyer deciding to go into the pits and maybe go for the undercut. A bit of a weird one. I thought that was the closest that the McLaren driver has been to the back of the Red Bull. Is going to force the Red Bull to make a decision of whether they want to pit or not. I feel like the Destroyer might have got past the Red Bull there and might have taken the lead of the race. So an interesting strategy decision by the McLaren driver. Sees them drop to 8th. Maybe they saw a gap on the circuit, as they are going to have a bit of clean air as they hunt down the Alfa Romeo of RPM Dragos. 3 seconds the gap there. We have got yellow flags in sector 3. I believe that's Crispy Business, just moving out of the way of some of the drivers. In fact, not moving out of the way. I think that might have been Crispy Business getting involved in an incident there as Uglar and Jano get through. Skipper now hunting down the Williams of Sven. Some very consistent laps for Skipper the last few laps. That gap has been going down. Annoyed Gamers just looking to keep up with this pack, and seeing all these drivers ahead of them is going to fill them with confidence. More drivers coming in from the soft tyres. Skipper stays out, and if the soft tyres are starting to struggle, then the Annoyed Gamer on the medium is going to find more and more opportunities on the circuit to overtake some of these drivers. And Skipper is now going to be our race leader, as our race leader Goon has come into the pits, and Goon has come out behind the Destroyer, so the undercut has worked for the McLaren driver. We said that they had a very good lap on their last lap when behind Goon on the circuit. We were a bit confused as to why the McLaren driver did come into the pit lane, but it has worked for them, and they are ahead of the Red Bull. Let's see, Annoyed Gamer has just dropped off the back of Skipper. And Skipper might have to think about a new strategy now, as the drivers that they were catching have come into the pits for the hard tyres. Is Skipper going to stay out a bit longer with the gap that they have to the Annoyed Gamer and potentially go to the mediums? Or are they going to come into the pits? And we know how lethal the undercut is. And it'll be interesting to see if Skipper falls down the order at all here. As the Annoyed Gamer, I didn't think I'd say this, even with around pit stops, the Annoyed Gamer is now in the lead of the race. And yes, Carle just confirming there that the undercut is supreme. It was a top drive for the Destroyer there to get past Goon. At the time we thought it was a bit of a strange decision, but it doesn't look like that is the case at all. In fact, it was a fantastic decision. It's all about getting past RPM Dragos, who is still out there on those old soft tyres. The Destroyer is going to want to make quick work of this, with Goon hunting down the McLaren driver. And the longer the two drivers are held up, this plays into the hands of the Annoyed Gamer as well, who is sitting rather comfortably 7 seconds up the road on those medium tyres. And it seems as though the Destroyer is a bit too far back to make a move into turn 12, but is really closing that gap onto the back of turn 13. RPM Dragos decides to stay out again for another lap, so wants the whole track position, and I think they might lose the position here to the Destroyer. The Destroyer, DRS open, takes the slipstream, is forced to go around the outside and does get the move done. And RPM Dragos is now going to be subject to Goon. And Goon can't get the move done. So this is an opportunity for the Destroyer to pull away from the Red Bull driver, the championship leader. These three all having a 5-second gap to Snell Henk, enjoying one of their best races so far in 5th position. They've got a nice gap to the driver behind them, and just trying to match the strategy of the drivers ahead of them. And we can see that gap starting to appear already. Destroyer pulling out 1.5 seconds to the Destroyer, and Goon is seeing that, no doubt, but Goon doesn't want to make a rash decision As Nath is out of session. We've got yellow flags in sectors 1, and we have the safety car out on the circuit. Now, I believe the Annoyed Gamer has gone round the track already, but this is an amazing time for a safety car for RPM Dragos. And that is Nath out of another session, yet again crashing out there at the Alpine driver. But it's part and parcel with racing for Nath there, and I'm sure it's all a learning experience. And Christy Business picking up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. So far, not too many penalties tonight, but that is because the Apex Motoring Club is not racing. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying that. So a lot of questions going through the mind of the Annoyed Gamer. Safety car coming out just as they went round the final bend. They are going to have the majority of the pack close to them. It is an opportunity to change tyres. It's also an opportunity to preserve the medium tyres and potentially look to just do a one-stop strategy and go onto the softs, as they are already starting to back up the pack. And if my prediction is correct, they're to go into the pits now, they would be coming out in 9th position. So it would be an improvement from when they started the race. Obviously, there were the fresh tyres, but I'm sure the idea would be to stay on the medium tyres, keep the tyres as fresh as you can under the safety car, and potentially make it a one-stop strategy by going on to the softs. So we're going to have quite a few laps under the safety car, as Crispy Business only going round turns 3 into turn 4 now. So we'll just get confirmation of the position changes, with most of the drivers have pitted, except from the Annoyed Gamer. So the Annoyed Gamer is up 10 positions from their starting position of 11th place. The Destroyer currently in 2nd. Obviously with the Annoyed Gamer still yet to pit. I'm sure that will soon become 1st. This is worked out for Goon. Goon, who was finding it difficult to get past the Alfa Romeo of RPM Dragos, who is now in 8th position after their pit stop. And this gives Goon another opportunity to stay tight to the back of the Destroyer, after the Destroyer did pull away 2 seconds to Goon. Snell Henk is now up to 4th position, with, say, RPM Dragos pitting, which is currently their highest position provisionally at the moment. So it'll be the highest finish for the Williams driver if things end this way. With the Annoyed Gamer still yet to pit, it could well be a podium for the Williams driver. And it is a hard track to overtake on, and Haas, I'm sure, knows that, as Haas is stuck behind the Williams driver in the AlphaTauri. Haas, subject to the questionable decision last week in Portimao, it looked like they let their teammates through potentially for the podium on the final lap. Christy Business picking up another time penalty for track limits under the safety car. Not one that you want to pick up. Skipper is up 2 positions. We said they are very good at getting themselves in very good positions on the circuit. They're in 6th position, and they are up 2 positions from their starting position, which was in 8th. and 7th position we have Sven, 8th on fresh mediums, so looking to make the mediums last the remaining 21 laps. Chris Business picking up another penalty, so it's a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. They are going into the pits. I hope they are aware that they can't serve a drive-through penalty under the safety car. Going for the medium tyres, so maybe just a change of strategy for the McLaren driver. In fact, they have retired from the session. A bit of a strange one. I know they had quite a few penalties, but the top 15 scoring points, and that would have been some free points for the McLaren driver. All they would have had to do would be finish. So Jarno, who did show some good pace in qualifying, is in 10th, had a bit of a horrible start to the race. Got caught up in an incident round turn 5. But looking to make amends for that, they're currently in 10th position. So we'll be scoring some points and hopefully are able to make their way through the field on the restart. The Annoyed Gamer backing up the pack, as the safety car is going to be in this lap. And it looks as though the Annoyed Gamer's got quite a good drive out of the final bend. But it's a lot closer for the battle for third. I was thinking about a late move up the insides. Little bit of contact. Snell Henk left enough room. But Haas with that late dive up the inside takes 4th position. And Jarno picking up a 3-second time penalty for track limits. No one thinking of making a move into turn 4 or turn 5 either. As we see a gap already appearing between Skipper and Snell Henk. I see RPM Dragos right on the back of the Williams of Sven. It might be Sven's debut here in C4, but there's no handouts in C4. And it looks like they are going to be racing with RPM Dragos, who is on those fresh medium tyres. The Annoyed Game looks to have pulled out 0.8 of a second to the Destroyer. That was very nicely taken by the Destroyer. Starting to get closer to the Annoyed Gamer, who might be struggling on those medium tyres. Again, it's a great drive out of both turns 13 and 14 for the Annoyed Gamer. And I think the drive out of them is going to save the AlphaTauri driver yet again. As the battle for 6th place continues on the circuit, with Skipper currently occupying the position. Sven wants it. RPM Dragos on the fresh and medium tyres wants the position too. And as we mentioned, Hungary, a very difficult circuit to overtake at. The undercut was fantastic for the Destroyer. Some of these drivers not going to be wanting to pit again, so they will have to make the moves on the track themselves. Again, RPM Dragos just a bit too far back to make a move into turn 12. And part of a DRS train, they're not going to get too much of an advantage along the main straight either. So it's just waiting for a driver to make a mistake. And we have got Goon getting past the Destroyer. There is contact between the two drivers. The Destroyer does get the move past Goon of the inside of turn 3. But as I say, there was a little bit of contact. And Huss thinking about a move into turn 4. Huss has got a time penalty as well. And RPM Dragos has had an incident through the chicane as they were hunting down Sven, pushing a bit too hard, and it looks like the AlphaTauri driver has had a spin, but they've been able to recover the position. It's now running in 13th. So we ride on board with our top 3. Looks like a bit further back this time around. And after last lap, the Destroyer knows they really need to get past the Annoyed Gamer. But the Annoyed Gamer's getting fantastic drives out of the last turn and the first turn, making it very difficult to get the move done. Just waiting for one of these drivers to make a mistake. And I'm sure the other drivers will pounce. And we have got an incident involving Snell Henk. Oh, we were saying it's Snell Henk's best drive of the season. Unfortunately, there's an incident there. What looks like that's around turns 9 and 10. And see Uglar getting past Snell Henk, but Snell Henk batting out and off. Annoyed Gamer has decided to go into the pits, so they feel like there might be some gaps appearing on the circuit, enough for them to pit in. They have a pit window. There's a virtual safety car on the circuit. Gary picks up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. The virtual safety car is complete, and Annoyed Gamer is going to risk 15 laps on the soft tyres. Obviously a lesser fuel load than early on, but we did see earlier the drivers coming off of the soft tyres after only 8 laps. Obviously they would have done their qualifying times on that as well. So 9/10 lap old soft tyres. The Annoyed Gamer hoping to do 15 laps on these soft tyres, but with a car which has significantly less fuel than what it would have had at the start of the race. So that's the Annoyed Gamer into 8th position, but we'll be looking to get past the Mercedes straight away of Uglar, and looks like they're already within DRS range. And the Destroyer might have just been outside of DRS range for Goon. Yes, Goon's not going to get any DRS here, and Huss might think about a move, but it's a bit too far back. And even without DRS, Goon able to stay within 0.5 of the Destroyer in the first sector. So Goon definitely the fastest driver in the first sector. The Destroyer maybe the fastest driver in the final sector. As the annoyed gamer has got past Ugla and is now going to be hunting down Sven. He was on 11 lap old hard tyres. It's all music to the ears of the annoyed gamer, hunting down 2 drivers ahead on hard tyres. And we'll just double check the time penalty for Huss. It is a 3-second time penalty. And it'll be interesting to see if the annoyed gamer can get to within that 3-second time penalty of their teammates. He seems to have had a bit of a moment there around the final bend, and that's going to cost them an opportunity to get past Goon. And Goon with DRS open, a bit far back to make a move on the McLaren of the Destroyer, but he's going to get another go at it into turn 2. No gamer setting fastest lap time, so we'll be picking up the extra points if they keep the fastest lap for the remainder of the session. As we see, Jarno is out of the session. We were wondering if they were getting quite close to Guri. We thought they were going to make a move there on the main straight. We have got a safety car out on the track. And this provides a fantastic opportunity for a driver like Skipper Sven to come in and join the annoyed gamer on those soft tyres. It's not too bad for the annoyed gamer, who will get an opportunity to preserve those soft tyres, and will be very close to the drivers ahead, including the race leaders, who are going to be on those old tyres. So, a potential podium on the cards for the annoyed gamer. A drive-through penalties for one of the drivers ahead of them, and a Skipper speeding under the safety car. Not something that the Red Bull driver wanted. They said they were a consistent driver. Is that a commentator's curse? But a drive-through for the Red Bull driver, not what they would have wanted. The question goes whether they go into the pits now for the soft tyres. They're thinking about it. I think they're going to make that decision. As we also have Goon and Huss doing the same, both going in, although Huss going for medium tyres as opposed to the softs. Sven staying out for track position on the hard tyres, and that will be some good news for the Destroyer, as they'll have a driver behind them to stop the on-rushing Goon for a couple of laps. Goon finding it difficult to overtake the Destroyer. They're going to have a distinct pace advantage on the soft tyres in comparison to the Destroyer, who's on the hard compound tyres. But as we mentioned, it's a very hard circuit to overtake them. And Goon maybe looking for that extra grip coming round the final couple of bends to get a better run on the Destroyer with DRS once we resume racing again. But as I say, we have a safety car there for Jarno having an incident. Commiserations to the Aston Martin driver, spinning it on the exit of the final turn 14. As we have got 12 laps remaining, we have got Berlin Blues as the driver at the back of the pack. Still going to pick up some good points for the Ferrari if they can finish the race today. So confirmation of the tyres that everyone has gone on to. Ugla and Gary also decided to stay out on the circuit on their medium tyres. Sven and the Destroyer staying out on their hard tyres. Goon in a very good position on those fresh, soft tyres. They're definitely going to last to the end of the race. The question is, will they be able to get past both the Williams and the McLaren I reckon they might be able to get past, I reckon. But it will make for a very interesting race. As we do see Berlin Blues just catching up to the pack, so we might see the safety car in this lap. As we do see, I think that was the annoyed gamer that just went off the circuit. It doesn't look like they've got any damage to the car, but just destroyed one of the advertisement boards. And I'm sure Graham Potter not too happy about the actions of the AlphaTauri driver ahead of them. As we predicted, the safety car is coming in this lap. So interesting to see the annoyed gamer decided to go into the pits for a fresh set of medium tyres. I thought they might have stayed out on these softs and maybe just looked after the tyres a little bit more under the safety car. The Destroyer backing everyone up. They do not want to lose any ground. Thought about going for it, but isn't going to leave anything to chance, and they have now gone. And Goon thinks about moving up the inside early on. Thinks against it. Goon is going to have a good drive out of it and might be forced a long way around to turn 2. And they're going to try it. And they are going to succeed. A fantastic move right away around the outside from Goon on the Williams of Sven. And looks like we've got side by side Huss going around the outside of Sven as well. Some fantastic moves, but that just goes to show the old hard tyres providing difficulties for the Williams driver Sven. And Goon on those fresh soft tyres hunting down Destroyer. I wonder what is going through the mind of the McLaren driver, as the annoyed gamer has got past Goey and is now hunting down the Red Bull driver of Skipper. Skipper is on those fresh soft tyres but does have a penalty. The annoyed gamer thinks about moving up the inside, decides against it, and Skipper is going to go into the pits and serve their penalty. And next up the road for the annoyed gamer is Ugler, and the Destroyer has just been overtaken by Goon in turn 1. We knew that the soft tyres are quicker and catching us somewhat off guard. Goon into turn 1 has got past the Destroyer. Destroyer's 17 lap old hard tyres. Would have been darned if they pitted, would have been darned if they did not. They did not pit, they stayed out on the hard tyres. The drivers behind them all went into the pit lane. And here we are on the safety car restart. A sitting duck for the Red Bull of Goon. So Goon retaking the position that they had at the start of the race. And Huss knows the Destroyer is struggling. And Huss, even though they have got a time penalty, be looking to hunt down that McLaren. As you see Goey and the annoyed gamer racing side by side into turns 12. And the annoyed gamer is going to be hunting down Ugler, who's currently in 5th position. They are on old medium tyres. I believe this will be a personal best for the Mercedes driver. See one of the stand-in drivers in C4. Normally the Mercedes being of Philip Hodgson or Apex Motoring Club. As Goey getting back past the annoyed gamer. And Goey then picking up a time penalty, and Sven is out of session. And it's going into turn 5. We have another safety car. This will provide an opportunity for the Destroyer to go into the pits. I just wondered there if we had some spots of rain, and we do have some spots of rain on the circuit. Nothing too major, not enough for the intermediates, but definitely something that's going to play in the minds of some of the drivers on the track, and some potential gamesmanship from Goon backing up considerably there, but I'm sure they just had a delta to obey. The Destroyer is going to stay out on the circuit, which is an interesting call, as they might be somewhat sitting duck themselves for Huss on the restart. The annoyed gamer does decide to go for the pits again. I'm sure this is going to be for soft tyres, but were they not better off holding track position at this stage? They are going for soft tyres. It's an interesting call. They have got damage to the front wing though. That is probably the main reason for the pit stop. I was going to say, if it wasn't for the front wing, it would have been a very confusing decision to pit. It's going to be the annoyed gamer rejoining the track in 11th, which is where they started their qualifying. Started the race after qualifying. So that now puts Ugler up into 4th, and if they can keep up with Huss, who has got the time penalty, 3 seconds. Behind them they have got Goey on a 6-second time penalty. This could be a surprise podium for the Mercedes driver. Goran Potner, Snell Henk and RPM Dragos all showing some good pace today, all matching their strategies and all racing on the circuit. I feel like they've been racing the whole session today, and that's going to be continuing under the safety car restart, which is going to be not this lap but next lap, I believe. The Destroyer has decided to go into the pits. I think some drivers are thinking that these conditions are getting worse. We might see some drivers going to the intermediate tyres, especially with the tyre wear, not the tyre, well, the tyre temperature even. It will be very cold on the circuit now under the safety car. The rain is coming down, and we are going to see some drivers going on to the intermediates. It's Huss and the Destroyer. I don't think it's wet enough yet. We did have rain similar to this last week out in Portimao in C2, and most of the drivers, well, in fact all of the drivers were on the dry compound tyres. The things are going to get interesting here. So the question is, what is the strategy? Will the safety car be in this lap? I very much think so. We have got two drivers who are on the intermediate tyres. We can see those conditions are getting worse. I still don't think it's wet enough for the intermediates, but it is close. There is 6 laps remaining, so this could be their last chance to pit for the intermediates. So I'm sure they expect the rain to get worse before the end of the session. No doubt trying to keep some temperature in those tyres. No one else tempted to pit, as we are going to get racing again. This driver's taking it extra cautiously, going off down the main straight. Ugler is now in 2nd position, but for how long? As Goey, a fantastic drive under the safety car, but not close enough to make a move. But there's no grip in turn 1. Both drivers making contact, both drivers going wide. Goey's going across the circuit. Nearly a big incident. Berlin Blues has lost a position on the restart as well. RPM Dragos is going to be making a move around the outside of turn 4. Bits of contact, but RPM Dragos leaving enough room. Has made the move stick, And it looks like they might have had some damage there, Snellhead, because the Annoyed Gamer also flying through. The Annoyed Gamer on those soft tyres. The Annoyed Gamer up from 11th, they were at one point. I know the two drivers, Destroyer and Huss, pitting for the Inters. The Annoyed Gamer now up to 5th. You can see that weather getting worse and worse. Goon pulling away 3 seconds. A healthy lead for them, and Ugler is off. We've got yellow flags, sectors 2 and 3 there. Safety car out. This is an opportunity for some of the drivers to change to the intermediate tyres. As Ugler out of the session was their best race so far. Commiserations to Ugler. Just got a bit too much of the inside curb at turn 10. And that was enough to see them into the barrier. And here we are. Looks like most of the drivers coming into the pit lane. I think they're going to go for the intermediate tyres. The grip is not there. And with 4 laps remaining, we might just get a 2-lap shootout. Sorry, the Destroyer. We did question again. Another pit stop, the decision that the Destroyer has got right. We questioned whether going to the intermediates was a sensible decision. But that weather is getting worse and worse. It is definitely now time to be on the intermediate tyres. We've still got 4 laps remaining. And Goon is going to be struggling, as is RPM Dragos. I think both of them know that they have made a very ballsy decision to stay out on the dry weather tyres. The Annoyed Gamer sitting in a good position. Huss has got a time penalty. And Goon and RPM Dragos might be tempted to pit. So that does put the Annoyed Gamer in a very good position. Skipper still in the soft tyres. I think they might be looking to come in and change as well. And the safety car won't be in this lap as the driver's just a little bit too far back. But things are going to get interesting. Grab your kids, grab your boyfriends, grab your parents, grab your children, and get your eyes on this one, because we are going to have a very interesting restart of the race. As Goon, our race leader under the safety car, decides to come into the pits, as does RPM Dragos directly behind, which does put the lead of the race back to the Destroyer in the McLaren. Things are changing again. Huss and Annoyed Gamer. Annoyed Gamer is on the podium. Carly, you wouldn't believe it. And Skipper is staying out on the circuit on the soft tyres. It's a risky strategy, but with great risk can come great reward. It can also come a great crash. But we will keep our eyes on the Red Bull driver on the restart. As just see the weather there. Doesn't look like it's going to be getting any better. It doesn't look like it's getting any worse. So the Inters might be the tyre to be on at the moment. As we're not onto full speed. A dry line not going to be forming anytime soon either. I believe we're just waiting for Berlin Blues to catch up to the rest of the pack. So we might not see the safety car in this lap either. In fact, we are going to see the safety car in this lap. Safety car wants to get racing just as much as we do as well. And Skipper has decided to go in the pits and go to the intermediate tyres. And we are racing again. It's a fantastic drive around the final bend by Huss, who's looking to make a move on the Destroyer into turn 1. decides against it. The Destroyer does run a little bit wide. Huss has got an opportunity here. Let's wait for the camera to pick it up, and the Destroyer does just hold the position, but Huss still fighting around the outside. Can't get the move done. So a very hard track to overtake is Hungary. They just see Goon in 6th position now after that late decision to pit for the intermediates. But all of the drivers on the intermediate tyres now. And the annoyed gamer is looking to hunt down the front 2 drivers here. And maybe a podium isn't their aim today. Maybe it's a race win. And why not? The only positions that they haven't occupied so far in the race is the top 2. And as things stand, they will have 2nd place from their teammate, as Goon has got past Goey. Goon will then be looking up the road to the Huss of Goran Potner. See yellow flags in sectors 2 and 3 for an incident involving Berlin Blues. Goey's going to be a bit too far back. Goon even a bit too far back. No, not at all. Straight up the inside. But there is the undercut from Goran Potner. Goon does well to defend from that one. And it looks like Goon is going to be up into 4th position with the annoyed gamer, their championship rival, just up the road in 3rd. And it looks like we're going to have the 2 Haas drivers racing with each other here, as Goey hunting down Goran Potner, who doesn't seem to have as much pace in the wet, but Goey a bit too much pace for their own brakes. Has lost some time there. RPM Dragos is going to be hunting them. Goey obviously has got a time penalty. RPM Dragos has not. The gaps starting to appear out there on the track between some of the drivers. We have got yellow flags in sector 2. It's another incident involving Berlin Blues. They are having some difficulties in the wet conditions, but I'm sure we'll be looking to finish the race and take home the points for finishing in 10th. I do believe the annoyed gamer still has the fastest lap, and that won't be beaten in the wet conditions. In fact, they do there, 1:18.4, so they will get a bonus point for the fastest lap. As we are on the final lap of the session, the annoyed gamer is within the penalty of Huss ahead of them, and looks as though the Destroyer is going to be taking home the race victory. How things have changed. At one point, it looks like they were going to get past Goon. They decided to pit. We've called them crazy for doing so. In fact, they ended up having the undercut of the century, getting a whole second ahead of Goon. We then had another incident under another safety car where the Destroyer went onto the intermediate tyres. We were confused if that was the correct decision. 2 laps later, we had Sven or Ogler having an incident, which meant everyone else went onto the intermediate tyres. And the Destroyer, going around the final bend, is going to take the checkered flag here at Hungary in the McLaren. The Destroyer takes the race win. And round 9 Hungary is the Destroyers. It was second across the line for Huss, but they have got the time penalty. So second for the annoyed gamer, starting from 11th up to second. Huss in 3rd. 4th place, we have got Goon, who did lead some of the race today as well. Goran Potner in 5th. RPM Dragos in 6th. 7th as Goey in 8th position. Across the line, we have Snell Henk. I'm sure they'll be disappointed about today. I'm sure they thought they were going to finish a bit higher, given how things were going at one stage for the Williams driver. Skipper in 9th. Another consistent points finish for the Red Bull driver, doing Red Bull very well in the Constructors' Championship. And Berlin Blues crossing the line. They might have had some penalties, they might have had some difficulties on the intermediate tyres, but some points nonetheless. As we said, fastest time of the session was done by the Annoyed Gamer, so some bonus points there. And rightly so, the driver of the day, the AlphaTauri driver, looking to hunt down the championship again after some difficult weeks that they have had. But they see the two AlphaTauri drivers on the podium, so some good points for them on the constructors. But the day is the Destroyers, the destroyer of the competition, the destroyer of Hungary, the destroyer of round 9. The McLaren driver going home with the race win. So we will just get confirmation of that finishing order as well there. So as you say, the destroyer taking home the race win. Annoyed Gamer second, and with the bonus point for the fastest lap. Haas in third, gets another podium for their racing today. Goon fourth position. That late call for the intermediates costing them the race win, but they did need to do it, and a great recovery drive to get fourth position. Grant Bonner in fifth. Sixth position, RPM Dragos, Goey in 7th, Snell Henk 8th, Skipper 9th, and Berlin Blues, the last driver to finish on the circuit, in 10th position. But that's all we have time for this week. Join us next week, Tuesday to Thursday. It's round 10, it really is the business end, the home stretch of season 10, and it's Spa, the Belgian Grand Prix. Join us next weekend. As ever, I'm the Entity. I look forward to seeing you there.